What's up, guys? Creighton here from LogicLounge.com. It's finally time to review the iPad Air 2. I took a little bit longer to do this review because I had a lot of schoolwork in the way that was preventing me from really getting to use this tablet and reviewing my notes about it and putting all of my thoughts pretty much on paper. So here we go with my review. Of course, the iPad Air 2 is thinner, it's lighter, it's more powerful. Everything we have been expecting, really, from Apple. Nothing new is there. It is only 6.1 millimeters thin, weighing at just under a pound. It is a light tablet, which I'm very grateful for, meaning that it's light. I can carry it around easily. It doesn't add a lot of weight to my everyday life, and I can use it when I'm laying in bed or taking notes in class, or just kind of throwing it into my bag and taking it with me wherever I go. It is a 9.7-inch display at a resolution of 2048 by 1536, so it is a very large display, of course. The iPad mini, you might ask me, why did I go for the iPad mini? Well, it really hasn't gotten that much of an upgrade from the last version, so I found no real use to get an iPad mini. I'm just going to stick with the iPad Air 2 because it did get all of the cool new features that we want, plus it got all the new power that we want. The iPad mini really didn't do that for me, and it's kind of one of those products that I think Apple was trying to actually push out the door rather than keep upgrading it and making it one of their premier products. But moving on, though, I mean, the tablet itself is great. It's got a 64-bit architecture, which means it uses multi-cores, multi-threads, and is very fast at what it does. They're claiming 2.5 times better graphics performance, 40% faster CPU performance, and up to 10 hours of battery life. Personally, through an everyday use, I've gotten about 8.5 to 9 hours of battery life when I'm doing a mixture of taking notes with Google Docs, or if I'm doing some light gaming on it, like Peggle or Angry Birds that I usually play with my tablet. I'll usually get around the 9-hour mark with that. I'm very impressed to see the Touch ID implemented in this tablet. It is something, though, that I wish would have come out the last version of the iPad Air. It had the ability to be in there because the Touch ID was there before with the iPhone, and it could have simply been implemented with the iPad Air. It wasn't. So it's one of those features that we could have seen earlier, but we are now just seeing. So it's a little bit of a depression, really, when you come to think of it. Although the pictures have been great with that new camera, the large display is fantastic for reading web pages, doing everyday browsing, and it's something I would really recommend for people who maybe want like a light computer to be able to do emails and take some photos, or use it while you're lounging around the house. This is what I see the iPad Air useful for. I also see it useful for a college student as well. If they want to take notes, this is a perfect thing to take notes with. You can get one of those tactile keyboards with the cases on it, and you can take it around with you, and it's definitely going to be a much lighter thing to carry around with you than a large laptop, which some people may not want to do. They may want something light they can carry with them. This is what they want to have. And usually when they have these education discounts too, you can get about $50 in credit and the iTunes App Store, which is great because then you can get some apps that you may want to have that may help you with your schoolwork. Overall, though, very impressed with it. I did have the iPad Air. I did have the new iPad, what they call it. I think it was the iPad 3. This is by far the best tablet that I've had of the iPad range, excuse me. Overall, though, I would recommend this to somebody who maybe is just getting introduced into a tablet, or who is looking to maybe upgrade from the previous iPads, not the iPad Air. If you have an iPad Air and you're thinking of really upgrading to the iPad Air 2, that would be something that you're really willing to spend the money for, because right now, between the iPad Air and the iPad Air 2, there isn't much of a difference, and that cost difference that you may have is not worth it in my eyes, at least. But if you did have an older one, or if you're brand new to it, this is the tablet that you're going to want to get. I did get a smart cover with it, which I'm very happy to. They have the leather ones and they have the regular polyester ones. I have the regular polyester ones. I actually tend to like those a little bit better. I think it uses it great for being a stand for being able to hold on to it, because you can fold it onto itself and use it as like a bigger grip when you're holding it in one hand. And of course, that magnet system is fantastic with it. I usually try to get a back cover for it as well, usually like a clear cover that I usually will buy from spec. Overall, though, it has great graphics performance, as I said before, and the CPU performance has been spot on as well. I did run both a Geekbench test and a 3D Mark test. They both scored fairly high. The 3D Mark test scored within, I think, the top 10. The only one out of those kind of tablets in the same range that beat it out was the NVIDIA Tegra tablet that they had. That really kind of beat it out, but is something that is comparable to it as well. The Geekbench score was actually pretty fantastic when it comes to what you see, what this device can do. It was based off of a 2500 score, which was like a Core i5 with 2.5 gigahertz. This scored a 4500, which is just slightly less than double of what an i5 can do. So it's a pretty fast processor, meaning you can get great graphics on these tablets, which is nice. I like to see that, especially if you really do like to play games or something like that. You can see that will be a lot better with this tablet than other tablets out there. Now, the big question, though, usually comes: why will you go an iPad? Why not an Android tablet? They can be, half the cost, and it's we can usually get more. They think that they can get more. Well, I buy into the iOS system for the ecosystem, for the apps that I can get, for the what I can do with it. I'm more interested in what I can do with it than the product itself. The Apple App Store has hundreds of thousands of apps, anything you can think of that will help increase your productivity or your entertainment value. And I think that the iOS system provides a better platform than Android does. Android has some great apps to it, but whenever I had Android tablets, and I've had a couple in the past, I don't know, some weren't compatible, some didn't look good, some crashed the tablet that I had. And keep in mind, I usually got the Nexus tablets, which are like the premier tablets that you're supposed to have on the Android system. I really didn't see that. So I've kind of bought in to the Apple system because I like the ecosystem. It's very well made and provides a lot of support to it. And that's where I'm really going to leave this review. I like it because of its speed, because of the great display and the long battery life. It works for what I want it to do. The downsides, I guess I could say, is that this is technology that we could have seen a year ago, but we're just now seeing it. So you may be a little bit depressed that you're just now seeing stuff that you wish was out a year ago, but overall, I'm very happy with the tablet. I did get the LTE version, and I have been using it with Verizon. It is a fantastic service. I've been getting pretty fast speeds with it as well. But you can go get the Wi-Fi only version if you want, or you can get the Wi-Fi plus LTE version. The iPad Air 2 starts in at $499 and works up from there at $599 and $699, going all the way up to 128 gigabytes, which is more than enough space for people if they really want to get into using these as content creation machines. You can definitely do that with the iPad Air 2. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to give it a like. If you give it a dislike, why not tell us why in that comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for subscribing as well. We really do appreciate it. And of course, we will see you guys in our next video.